The story begins, we see a massive man named Bradley. As physically tough as Bradley looks, his life is just as messy. One morning, Bradley drives his car and reaches his office where he works. However, after entering the garage, Bradley sees his boss standing at the door, looking at him with a strange expression. Just by looking at the boss's gaze, Bradley realizes that something bad is definitely in store for him today. The boss calls Bradley aside. Then the boss starts saying, "Look, Bradley, my business has been failing for a long time. I don't have a single penny in my pocket to pay your salary. Therefore, from today, you don't need to come to the office anymore." Hearing the boss's words, the sky seems to fall on Bradley's head. His life is already falling apart, and on top of that, losing this job is like a final blow to a dying man. But Bradley knows that there is no point in arguing with the boss here. So, without saying a word, Bradley packs his bag and heads toward his home. Feeling dejected after losing his job, as Bradley arrives near his house, he sees a sight that goes beyond his limit of tolerance. Bradley sees his wife, Lauren, sitting inside a car in front of the house, talking secretly to someone on her mobile phone. Seeing Lauren's behavior, Bradley feels suspicious. Bradley continues to observe Lauren from a distance for quite a while. However, at one point, Bradley's patience finally snaps. As Bradley takes a few steps toward Lauren, his eyes drift toward Lauren's neck. Bradley sees a red mark on his wife's neck. Just by looking at the mark, Bradley realizes that some guy has likely given his wife a love bite. Within a moment, Bradley's blood begins to boil. Bradley snatches the phone from Lauren's hand and starts checking it. And indeed, Bradley finds out that Lauren is actually involved in an extramarital affair with another man. Blinded by rage after seeing these things, Bradley first sends Lauren inside the house. Afterward, what Bradley does will surely leave you shocked. In a fit of rage, Bradley starts destroying the entire car with his bare hands. With his bare hands, Bradley pulls everything from the car's headlights to the engine and rips them into pieces. Anyone would be terrified seeing Bradley's rampage. After wrecking the car, Bradley now enters the house and says to Lauren, "Answer exactly what I ask you. If you twist even one answer, the consequences will not be good." Bradley now asks, "Are you having an affair with someone?" Lauren, trembling in fear, admits that she is having an affair with a guy. Bradley wants to know for how long. Lauren reveals it has been about 3 months. Lauren then starts explaining through tears why she chose this path. Actually, Lauren had a miscarriage some time ago, which caused her to go into a deep depression. And Bradley used to be so busy with his work that he had no time to give to his wife. Because of this loneliness, Lauren became involved in a relationship with another man. Hearing Lauren's crying and the pain of the miscarriage, Bradley's stone-hard heart melts instantly. Bradley realizes that somewhere, he himself is responsible for Lauren going astray. He couldn't give time to his wife and couldn't share her sorrows. Thinking about all this, Bradley sits solemnly for a while. Then Bradley says to Lauren, "All right, what's done is done. Let's forget everything and start fresh. From today, there will be no secrets between us. Everything will be out in the open." Lauren agrees to his words, and their relationship begins anew. But at that exact moment, Bradley gives her the actual bad news. Bradley informs her that he has lost his job and it isn't possible to find a good job so quickly. However, Bradley mentions here that he has spoken with an acquaintance named Gil, who works as a drug courier. Bradley has also decided to enter that line of work. Hearing this, Lauren repeatedly forbids Bradley, saying, "I beg you, do not get involved in any illegal work. If you face any danger, who will I hold on to survive?" But at that time, Bradley has no other path open before him. To manage the household expenses, Bradley has to step into this dark world. In this way, 8 months pass by. In these 8 months, Bradley's entire life turns a full 180 degrees. Now Bradley has become a well-known drug courier. Risking his life, Bradley delivers drugs from one dealer to another, and in exchange, Bradley earns heaps of money. The result is exactly what was expected. Now, instead of their broken-down house, they have a massive, luxurious mansion to live in and a garage full of expensive branded cars. Bradley now starts leading a luxury life. The happiest news is that Lauren has become pregnant again. Waiting for their unborn child, the days are passing very well for the two of them. One day, while Bradley is going to the bedroom with Lauren, a call comes to his phone at that exact time. From the other side of the phone, Gil tells Bradley to come to his house on a very urgent basis. Bradley doesn't delay and quickly reaches Gil's house. Arriving there, Bradley sees a few new people sitting with Gil, one of whom is named Eleazar. This man, Eleazar, has come from Mexico, and he wants to conduct a large-scale drug business here. While talking, Eleazar introduces Bradley to two more of his henchmen, whose names are Roman and Prado. Eleazar claims that these two are so dangerous that they can chop people into pieces and crush them in the blink of an eye. Eleazar has decided that from now now on, whenever Bradley goes on a mission, Roman and Prado will cover him like a shadow so that their drug deals can be conducted perfectly. But Bradley does not agree to this proposal at all. Bradley looks at Roman and realizes that this guy stays intoxicated on drugs all the time. Bradley says directly, "I cannot take these drunks with me. Instead of reducing my danger, they will increase it. I may do drug business, but I do not work with addicts." Seeing Bradley talk back like this, Eleazar is quite surprised. Eleazar mentions that Roman has been in this line of work for a long time. But inside Bradley's mind, some kind of bad advice and signals of danger keep ringing. When Gil sees that Bradley is unwilling to take those two Mexicans under any circumstances, he takes Bradley aside and starts explaining. Gil says, "Look, Bradley, Eleazar is a very big-time person. If you can complete this job properly, then my relationship with you will also become stronger. And you are going to be a father, right? Succeed in this mission, and then after your baby is born, you will get a continuous 3-month leave, along with heaps of money." Without thinking about the money here, but hearing about the 3-month leave and thinking about the future of his unborn child, Bradley agrees despite his reluctance. As a result, Bradley sets out with those addicts Roman and Prado on the most dangerous mission of their lives. Their job is to bring back a massive shipment of drugs from the middle of the sea. They first arrive at a harbor and take a small boat out into the middle of the ocean. After arriving there, Prado puts on a diving suit and jumps underwater. Going underwater, Prado sees a massive consignment of drugs tied down with chains. As soon as Prado cuts the chain, the bags of drugs float to the surface of the water. Bradley and Roman together start pulling those bags onto the boat, and they hurriedly return to the shore. When they return to the dock, Bradley realizes with his sharp eyes that a police patrol is definitely going on here. Bradley says, "If the 3 of us go out with the bags together now, we will surely get caught." Therefore, Bradley suggests that the bags be dropped in a corner of the sea for now, and they can be retrieved the next day when there is an opportunity. But those 2 Mexicans are stubborn. Far from listening to Bradley's words, they instead turn on him. They beat Bradley up and try to escape with the bags. At that exact moment, what Bradley feared comes true, and a swarm of police cars arrives there with sirens blaring. As soon as they see the police, Roman and Prado frantically rain bullets down on them like madmen. Everywhere, there is only the sound of gunfire and ear-splitting screams. Bradley wants to distance himself from this chaos. But just at this time, a police officer asks Bradley for help. Bradley falls into a difficult moral dilemma. Bradley knows that if he flees now, he will remain most wanted in the police records for the rest of his life. Within a moment, Bradley makes a bone-chilling decision. Bradley picks up a fallen gun from a police officer and in the blink of an eye, guns down Roman and Prado, riddling them with bullets. Bradley knows that if these 2 are caught alive, they will reveal Gil's name and Bradley's name under interrogation. So, thinking about his own and his family's safety, Bradley finishes off his own team members. When the police see this scene, they surround Bradley from all sides, and Bradley is arrested and sent to the police station. When the detectives start interrogating Bradley, they are completely surprised. This is because Bradley answers every one of their questions correctly with a very cool head. However, it isn't that Bradley is admitting his guilt. Rather, Bradley starts playing a strange mind game with the police. In the face of thousands of police interrogations, Bradley remains absolutely silent. Bradley doesn't let a single word out of his mouth that would lead to his gang being caught. However, since Bradley killed 2 people, there is no way for him to escape in the trial. Seeing Bradley's cold-headed moves, the judge sentences him to exactly 7 years of imprisonment. When Bradley is brought to the prison, all metal objects on his body, and even minor items, are taken away. Bradley is handed a blue prison uniform and sent to a cell on the 4th floor. After going there, Bradley meets the head officer of the prison, Warden Andre. Andre warns Bradley in a stern voice, saying, "To stay here, you must follow my rules. As soon as the bell rings, exit the cell and stand in line. You must not move even a bit." But Bradley pays absolutely no attention to these threats and enters his cell to start sleeping comfortably. In the middle of the night, when the prison bell rings, all the inmates shrink back and stand in line in front of their cells. But Bradley is still lost in his dreams. After a while, when Bradley wakes up, he sees that everyone is standing in an orderly line. Bradley slowly and steadily comes to stand in line. Warden Andre, however, notices Bradley's late arrival. Andre stands in front of Bradley with bloodshot eyes and says, "Today is your first day, so I'm letting you go. But if you are late next time, you will realize how ruthless the punishment in this prison truly is." Meanwhile, when Bradley's wife Lauren is alone at home, she suddenly realizes that someone has jumped over her house gate and entered the house. Thinking about herself and her child, Lauren takes a position with a gun. At that exact moment, an assassin from the shadows fires a tranquilizer dart at Lauren. Consequently, Lauren falls to the ground with a thud and loses consciousness right there. Those unidentified people lift Lauren up and kidnap her, taking her away somewhere. The next morning, a prison staff member comes and informs Bradley that a doctor has come to see him. Bradley wonders in surprise why a doctor would come to meet him inside the prison. The staff member mentions that there are some complications in his wife Lauren's pregnancy, which is why the doctor has come to talk to Bradley urgently. When Bradley goes to meet that doctor, he learns that this man is not actually a doctor. He is an agent working for Eleazar. That fake doctor tells Bradley to his face, "Because of your stupidity, Eleazar's $3.2 million shipment was caught by the police. Eleazar is terribly furious with you." Bradley realizes that his life has now sunk into a bottomless abyss. This means that even if Bradley escapes from prison, Eleazar's people will kill him. That fake doctor takes a phone out of his pocket and shows Bradley a photo. As soon as Bradley sees the photo, the ground shifts from beneath his feet. Bradley sees that someone has tied up his pregnant wife, Lauren. The doctor then says with a devilish smile, "Listen, Bradley, our boss Eleazar is extremely angry with you. If you want to see your wife and child alive, you have to do a job for us." Bradley asks while seething with rage, "What do you guys want from me?" The doctor then makes the real move. He informs Bradley that he has to go to the most dangerous place in this prison, cell block 99. There is an inmate named Christopher Bridge who has been given a life sentence. Bradley's mission is to enter that block and remove Christopher from the world. But the problem is that it is absolutely impossible to go from the block. Bradley is currently into the maximum security zone, which is cell block 99. The doctor clearly tells Bradley, "If you don't kill Christopher, Eleazar will tear the child out from your wife's womb." Having no other choice, Bradley agrees to Eleazar's diabolical proposal. After finishing the meeting, when Bradley enters the prison, Bradley realizes he must now do something that makes the prison authorities consider him a dangerous criminal and send him to that other block. At that exact moment, Bradley runs into Warden Andre. Without a moment's delay, Bradley takes off his shoes and pounces on Andre like a tiger. Bradley starts beating Andre so mercilessly that the surroundings start getting drenched in blood. Andre tries to fight back, but Bradley has become as fierce as a beast at that moment. Bradley beats Andre until he is nearly dead. When the rest of the prison guards rush over, Bradley realizes that hitting just one person won't be enough, so Bradley starts his rampage on the other guards as well. Eventually, the guards are forced to give Bradley an electric shock, dropping him to the ground in an unconscious state. Seeing Bradley's terrifyingly violent behavior, the guards realize that they must send him to the secure cell block 99 zone. Consequently, what was bound to happen happens. Bradley is immediately transferred to the maximum security cell block 99. Upon reaching the new prison, the warden there gives Bradley a very stern warning. The warden says, "The previous prison you came from was like heaven, but this prison is a living hell. Here, we won't let you stay in peace for even a second." Afterward, Bradley is taken to cell block 99. Upon entering the cell, Bradley's insides feel like they are about to spill out. Everywhere, there is such a pungent smell of rotten feces and excrement that an ordinary person would suffocate and lose their life there. The toilets are completely open, with no sign of cleanliness at all. The previous inmates had turned this place into an absolute hell. Seeing no other way, Bradley takes off his undershirt and ties it tightly over his nose so that he can get some relief from the terrifying stench of this hell. Afterward, Bradley lies down on that filthy floor. The next morning, when Bradley is let outside, he sees many inmates exercising in the prison yard. Bradley slowly moves forward. Afterward, with a sharp gaze, Bradley tries to find his target. At that exact moment, Bradley meets a mysterious inmate of this prison named Derry. Bradley asks him if there is anyone named Christopher Bridge in this prison. Derry says in surprise that he doesn't know anyone by that name at all. However, Derry warns Bradley here that he shouldn't talk too much with the other inmates. But Bradley only has one thought in his head: he has to save his wife. Bradley ignores Derry's words and goes to another inmate to start asking again. At that exact moment, the real trouble begins. Those inmates pounce on Bradley in a group. But Bradley is no ordinary man. He is already like a monster in physique, and on top of that, his blood is boiling. Bradley starts grabbing people one by one with a single hand and slamming them down. Bradley breaks some people's limbs and smashes others' heads. Everywhere, there is only screaming and a bloodbath. Seeing this scene, the rest of the prison guards start firing blank shots to handle the situation. Eventually, the warden himself manages to stop Bradley by aiming a gun at Bradley's head. The warden realizes that keeping this man in an ordinary cell means grave danger. They beat Bradley mercilessly while putting a black mask over his face. Afterward, they drag Bradley toward that notorious cell block 99. After being dragged and pulled for a long distance this way, the blindfold is removed from Bradley's eyes. Afterward, what Bradley sees makes his heart sink. This cell block 99 is no ordinary prison. It is built in a dark basement underground. With silence all around and damp walls, the entire place feels like a living graveyard. Following this, guards come and put an execution jacket on Bradley and shove him into the cell. Entering the cell, Bradley sees countless glass shards scattered on the floor so that he cannot move even a step. If Bradley moves, his feet will be sliced open. But Bradley doesn't care about anything and sits right down on that glass. Meanwhile, Lauren's condition becomes quite miserable. Lauren is kept locked in pitch darkness. There, that fake doctor and a bone-chilling abortion expert from Korea are examining Lauren. They are only waiting for Bradley's signal. If the job isn't done, they will cut and pull the child out of Lauren's womb in this state. In the middle of the night, when Bradley shouts Christopher Bridges' name from inside the cell, an inmate from the neighboring cell cries out, "Hey brother, there is no one by that name here." At that exact moment, guards come and take Bradley outside. When Bradley reaches the visiting room, he cannot believe his own eyes. Sitting there right in front of him is Elzar himself. Bradley screams in shock and says, "What are you doing here?" At that moment, Elzar starts speaking with a devilish smile and says, "Bradley, you hand over my $3.2 million worth of goods to the police, and even that does not make me this angry, but you make my sister a widow." Meanwhile, Elzar continues and says, "This Prado is my own sister's husband, and you shoot him dead like a dog." Then Elzar looks straight into Bradley's eyes and says, "That is why I create this entire fake story about a fictional character named Christopher Bridge, just to drag you into this hell." At that moment, Elzar reveals the truth and says, "In reality, there is no one in this jail named Christopher Bridge." Suddenly, Elzar says, "I personally bribed the police, get myself arrested, and come to this jail only to make you suffer a slow and painful death." Meanwhile, Elzar shows Lauren's photos right in front of Bradley's eyes and starts laughing loudly. Then Elzar keeps saying, "Very soon, they cut open your wife's womb, drag out the baby inside, and crush it to death under their feet." At that moment, the violent beast inside Bradley wakes up once again. Meanwhile, Elzar's men brutally torture Bradley and beat him until he loses consciousness, but they do not know that Bradley is not dead. Bradley only waits for the right opportunity and pretends to get beaten on purpose. After a while, Bradley regains consciousness. Suddenly, Bradley breaks his chains and roars like a wild beast. Then Bradley secretly enters the room of Elzar's men. One by one, Bradley jumps on them like the angel of death and starts separating their heads from their bodies. Bradley strangles some of them to death with his bare hands. He even smashes someone's head against the wall until their brains splash all over the floor. Honestly, this scene feels extremely horrifying. Bradley creates such a bloody massacre inside that room that the entire floor starts flowing like a river of blood. After killing everyone within just a few minutes, Bradley finally reaches the real criminal, Elzar's room. Without giving him any chance, Bradley now starts torturing Elzar like a wild animal and forces him to call the fake doctor. Unable to endure Bradley's brutal torture, Elzar finally calls the doctor and directly orders him to send Lauren home safely without harming her. The moment Elzar cuts the call, Bradley does not waste a second and smashes Elzar's legs into pieces. Meanwhile, we see that the devil doctor leaves Lauren in front of Gil's house. The moment Gil sees Lauren, he pulls out his gun and shoots the fake doctor and the Korean abortion expert like dogs, blowing their heads apart. Then Gil immediately calls the prison information center and informs Bradley that Lauren is completely safe with him. After hearing this news, tears appear in the corners of Bradley's eyes, not from pain, but from pure happiness. Then Bradley speaks to Lauren on the phone and says, "Put the phone on your belly. I want to talk to my baby." When Lauren places the phone on her belly, Bradley starts talking to his unborn child. Bradley says to his unborn child, "After you come into this world, always live honestly and with integrity. Never be afraid of anyone." In reality, Bradley says these words because he already understands that no prisoner has ever returned alive from this prison. That means Bradley's death is certain. That is why he delivers his final message to his unborn child. Then Bradley continues having an emotional conversation with Lauren. Their emotional conversation is guaranteed to bring tears to your eyes. Bradley takes his final farewell from his wife. After that, Bradley starts walking toward Elzar's room to take his true revenge. Meanwhile, Elzar is still screaming in unbearable pain. Without showing any mercy, Bradley cuts off Elzar's head from his body in a single strike. At that very moment, the dangerous warden of the prison arrives there with several guards. When the warden and the guards see that Bradley has completely gone insane, they do not hesitate, because keeping this terrifying man alive is equal to death for them. The warden points his gun directly at Bradley's forehead and pulls the trigger. A massive gunshot echoes, and Bradley's brain splatters onto the wall. Bradley slowly collapses to the ground, but there is a satisfied smile on his face, because he manages to save his wife and his unborn son. And this is how the blood-soaked sacrifice story of a fearless prisoner comes to an end.